Yellow. This is Jared with Flow Pros Plumbing. I'm currently sitting on our toilets at the shop that we use for repairs, and today I'm going to show you how to fix your toilet for free. I'll show you guys just a simple rebuild. This isn't anything crazy, just a regular toilet, you know, anything you can buy from Home Depot or Lowe's. All the parts you can purchase from Home Depot and Lowe's as well, so we'll put those in the link below once we do post the video, and then that way you guys can go ahead and order the parts, try and make the repairs, and then if you guys need, you can give us a call. Flow Pros Plumbing, the best plumbing company in St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Lithia. Let's go! So this toilet is a Glacier Bay, and you can see on the inside of the toilet you have your handle. This one's a side mount handle. Most times your handles are just going to be on the front here. You have your handle that ties into the flapper. So the flapper lifts up and it allows the toilet to flush. And whenever it's done flushing and the water starts to lower, this will seal off again. And then your fill valve will fill the toilet up. Whenever this gets to a point where it's ready to stop, it's going to lift this ball. And there's a diaphragm on the top here that actually shuts the water off, that allows the toilet to stop running. So anytime the toilet is flush, this is going to drop, it's going to fill up, this is going to close, fill, 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 and then it's going to stop. Now most times what we see on toilets that are running, it's usually from bad water quality to where your fill valve goes bad or your flapper goes bad. Not a lot of times with the handles, unless this isn't attached correctly and you don't have the right amount of chain and maybe it's sticking up, but a lot of times what we're seeing is the fill valve goes bad, which just causes it to continue to run and it won't allow it to stop in the flush valve, or the flapper goes bad, and those are pretty much the two things that we're seeing inside of the toilet tank that are going to give you issues. First step for any toilet repair is always shut down the main valve. This is the main shutoff valve that goes on the back of the toilet. This is usually going to stick out of the wall about 3 or 4 inches. This is a quarter turn, so this one you only have to turn side to side. So this just turns like that. That's going to shut the water off to the toilet. If it's a multi-turn, you're going to have to turn it probably 3 or 4 times, and then it'll actually get the water to shut off. That's in the on position to let water flow out of the top here. This is the side that comes from the wall. So you got about 3 or 4 inches. It's going to be copper or CPVC galvanized. Always shut the water off to the main, which is going to be on the outside of the home. Could be for the city. You really shouldn't be shutting off the city's water, but if you guys need to, then you can definitely shut that down. So that, once again, is in up. It's going to be in the on position if you need to shut the water off to the toilet, just like that. That way, whenever you start to do all of your toilet repairs, you can go ahead and make those. Don't worry about any water coming through. If this is faulty, it'll let water come through. So as we were just saying, you definitely want to shut the water off to the house, because if you don't shut it off, you could run the risk of flooding your house out. Even if it's CPVC and brittle, sometimes the pipe from the wall can snap, and this one being compression, we see a lot of the stops are compression, so they just compress down onto the pipe. And sometimes when you're trying to twist it, you're trying to take this angle stop off and maybe get the supply line replaced, you twist this and it ends up snapping the pipe in half, which can flood your whole house out. That sucks. Don't flood your house out. Shut the water off and then twist this, get it going. So the first repair that we're gonna make is right here. Now this is the nut that goes up into the fill valve. So to get this off, all you have to do is twist this clockwise and it's gonna pop out. Now this piece is actually going to push up through the unit, and I'm just gonna go ahead and reach my hand up here so you guys can see it. So this is the fill valve. When you're trying to get it on, there's this red gasket that goes on here. It comes in every type of fill valve kit. All you have to do is slide that off, put it on, and this goes on the inside of the tank. Now you can see that these threads have came out. So all you have to do is whenever it goes back in, you want to cinch it back up. You can look inside of the tank here. You obviously don't have to be laying down like I am, but whenever you put it back in, all you have to do is cinch it back up. Turn this counterclockwise, rotate, rotate, rotate. I usually get a pair of channel locks on these, but for training purposes, it's just easier to not do it. But whenever you're going into getting this tightened, all you have to do is just get these 2 knobs here. You're gonna just twist it down. I usually get it pretty tightened. And this will actually hold like this. You can do it hand tight, but usually I like to get another half turn on it with a pair of channel locks, and then that way it'll actually cinch up good. No leaks in the gasket that's on the inside. Basically right here, the red gasket, that's what cinches it to the actual tank and prevents it from leaking down below. So that's the first piece. That's called a fill valve, and this is the unit that actually fills the toilet. Now I'm gonna show you how to do the flapper next. All right, so the next piece is going to be the flapper. Now this piece is actually one of the easier pieces to fix, just because it's a really simple piece that sits on 2 knobs here. So on this one, it's a 3-inch fluid master. This one's corky, actually a 3-inch corky. So this one, it has an adjustable float on the bottom that you can let more water in. It can actually stay up longer if you need it to. But these here, all you have to do is just adjust this chain, and then once you adjust the chain, you have your flapper that sits on your flush valve. This piece just ties on like this. One goes on to the right arm and one goes on to the left arm, and then goes right back down. So as long as the chain is in good enough shape, everything's cinching good, you're gonna leave a little bit of room in this chain so that way it can come up and you're not actually getting stuck. We usually leave a little bit of this on here. This one I just replaced recently, so we have a little bit extra. Most times I'll leave about 3 links on this so we have the ability to cut it. If any repairs need to be made in the future, then we can reuse this if we need to. Most times we don't, because this isn't usually something you see multiple repairs a year if you have water filtration. So this unit here being a 3-inch, we have 3-inch, 2-inch. If you see this, you can always take these off and take them up to the supply house, whether it's Home Depot, Lowe's, Ferguson, Hydrologic. We prefer Hydrologic, but it's just a plumbing supply house. So if you do need to get these flappers, they're readily available everywhere, and they'll also be in the description so you guys know where to find that. Another thing with the flappers, whenever these get old and deteriorate, you usually get a little bit of buildup that's on this flush valve right here. What you're gonna wanna do is just make sure that's clean and there's no cracks in it. So that way, once you put it back down, this can actually seal correctly. It is only rubber, so once it cinches, it gets a good fill, starts to fill up, and then this fill valve that we just replaced is going to stop like this, and then that way there's no more running water in the toilet. Now the fill valve also has an adjustable level here, so that the level is going to need to be below where your flush valve is at. And on any standard tank, there's a fill line. So for this, you can adjust this ball up and down, usually crank it a couple notches down, and then you'll be able to auto adjust the level of the toilet. So where this fills up and it stops, you want the water to stop right here. You definitely don't want it overflowing into the flush valve, because that's going to give you more issues with running water and it can hike up a bill, and you definitely don't want to do that. So next is going to be the handle. So the last piece is going to be the toilet handle. This one is side mount, like I've been talking about. I'm gonna do a quick clip of the other toilet that I have right here. Just gonna show you how to do a normal style front mount toilet handle, which is gonna be on 90% of standard toilets. So this one I'm gonna show you real quick, and then I'll bounce to our other toilet and show you how to get that one out. So this is just a regular side mount handle. Now this is also going to go counterclockwise. We're gonna pull this nut off. This one is attached to the flapper, so all you have to do is pop off this piece, pull it out, and then you can just yank this piece right out. Comes out pretty easily. That little gasket I'll put back in, but that's pretty much it for the handles. These are the easiest piece to swap out. You just have to make sure that if it's a side mount, you get a side mount. If it's a front mount, you have a front mount. And this one we're just gonna put back in. You're gonna put this on like this. You're going to go counterclockwise on this one. Honestly, I don't know if I said that correctly. It's the opposite direction that you think it would go for this toilet here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cinch this one down. Most times if it's gonna be loosening, it's going away. If you're gonna be tightening, it's coming to you. So you can see this one now, pretty tight. Whenever you swap it out, you're gonna wanna put this here, get this back on. There's 3 little notches on there. You can see 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go ahead and put our clip on here, which attaches the flapper, and then the flapper is going to shut. Make sure you do have that slack in there like I was talking about before, so it could actually flush correctly. Last piece is with these fill valves. Anytime you swap them, they do come with the supply line. All you have to do is stick this into the flush valve. Make sure it's in there pretty decently. If it doesn't have this holding clip, it usually comes with a little metal clip that you can put on the outside, and then that mounts directly into the flush valve. Now, as you can see, this one is just a regular front mount toilet handle. So this is also a toilet that we work on rebuilds. Has the same inside, just a different setup for the front mount. So it comes off the same. All you have to do is pull this off. A lot of them are adjustable. They come in metal, a really soft metal that you can flex. So for these ones here, you just have to make sure that this float steers clear. If not, it can run up underneath here. And if it does that, then you have problems with it shutting off. So you just need to make sure that the float stays clear on the front mounts. And then on the handle, this is going to be the front mount. So you can just go ahead and order that, or you can go ahead and get a side mount handle like what we're dealing with over here. All right guys, so that about wraps it up for toilet repairs. Like I said, I'm gonna put the link in the bio for you guys to find all the materials at your local supply house. Typical repairs like this are usually gonna run with a plumbing company, anywhere between $186 to $386. If you get a higher toilet, you're probably gonna be looking $386 to $586 depending on parts. Seems like a lot, but there's a lot that goes into these plumbing jobs. If you guys do need help, like I said, we're in the St. Petersburg and Tampa, Lithia areas. Company is FlowPros Plumbing, 727-265-9639. Give us a call if you have any plumbing issues, and we will see you guys on the next one. Toodles.